I'm not clear on Rick's question, but he's going to help us out with that. Rick says, do you help on rolling a call or just close for a loss like delta neutral? What kind of call are we talking about here, Rick? Are we talking about a covered call? Are we talking about a long call? Are we talking about a call in a spread? Okay. The answer to your question is yes. We help with everything. So if I go to the webinars and I go to option strategies, there's a variety of different ones here. I'm going to clean this. My job this month was to clean all of this up before the end of January. I really haven't succeeded yet. We're going to remove some of these older ones and we're going to enhance it with some of the more recent ones we've posted. But I'm going to keep some staples in here. We're going to redo some of the staples, Rick. What do I mean by staples? Well, here's a webinar on rolling up a covered call. Here's one on 8 ways to manage a bull put credit spread. That's going to help me out in the next question. Managing your spread positions. This is a public page, by the way, powerop.com/webinars.asp. Don't even need a trial. Don't even need to be logged on to your trial or your subscription to visit this page at any time. It's a public page. The top 5 or 6 might show you that they're subscriber access only, but these older ones you can access. How to be successful with spread trades. All right. Calendar spread criteria. Managing covered call positions. I'm looking for one specific that hasn't come up yet. There we go. Selection criteria for long options, call buying, put buying, and ideas on managing your long option positions. Managing for long calls and long puts when the underlying security moves against you. Managing the position if the option position is profitable, if the underlying is stagnated and you're losing time value. There are various ways you can look to adjust a long call, a covered call, other positions, and Rick, yes, we help with all of that, not only with education here in the webinars, but also if I'm tracking a position in the portfolio tool. If I had bought a call, this is the radioactive one, if I had bought a call, I'm looking for something I'm not going to find. Okay, maybe it's this one. That's not it. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. I'm looking for one that was more recent that we did during the webinars in December and going forward. Well, there's rolling covered calls, but I think these are all expired. Oh, no, they're not. Good. Excuse me, here. So as you're tracking positions in the portfolio, whether your call has gone deep in the money, a covered call, or if it's out of the money, you can always link to the position analysis page. I can go to position actions and position analysis, Rick. This gives us a breakdown of my current position. Not looking too good here. But as I scroll down, I may see potential rollout opportunities where the system has provided potential adjustments for me based on the math, calculations, and what's available, and common ways to approach it. And I can compare now to my current liquidation value versus future expiration value against new potential return if assigned, downside protection, and probability. So we see here it gives us some ideas that we could roll our existing call. And it's great to see things numerically. I can go ahead and click this and I can see a side-by-side comparison. On the left in red is my initial covered call position in this case. On the right in blue would be what my position would look like if I made this adjustment. And down below we have a comparison of the before and after graph of this potential covered call. You will see rollout opportunities in almost all of the strategies that are supported on PowerOptions. If I'm tracking an iron condor, bull put credit, collar position, standard collar or dynamic calendar collar, for example, calendar call spreads, just buying a call or buying a put option, you may see ideas here as well. So if I have a position that's down, I have a long call that I'm losing on. So let's go here and let me just put in a quick example here. I'm going to go long call. Let's say a day or so ago on, it's a position I'm in. And let's say I bought the 26 call for $1.45 when the stock was up at $25.70. Okay, and I did this yesterday. The date isn't exactly specific, nor is the price, but we're just going to put this in as an example. So my ON long call is currently down about 24%. I've only been in it for a day or so. I paid $1.45. Current price is $1.10. You might be looking at more of an extreme example, Rick, but for a long call, I could do the same thing. Now, it's only 24%, So I might not see any rollout opportunities, but as before, we'll go to position actions and then position analysis. There's the idea. I'm down 27.6% after one day. If I hold it all the way to expiration and the stock stays at the same price, I'll lose full value. Doesn't show me any rollout opportunities. What's the situation? I bought an out-of-the-money 26 call a day or two ago on ON, on semiconductors. The stock was at 25.70, 25.80. Stock's now dropped just below 25, and I'm at a 25% loss on my leveraged long call. So what could I do to hedge some of that premium? Doesn't show me any rollout opportunities here. But of course, what I might consider myself, since I don't see any rollout opportunities, we can use this button here for what-if calculations. That's just going to take us to the profit and loss chart that we were looking at a moment ago for Chuck's discussion on credit spreads and debit spreads. And so here I see I'm slightly underwater. I bought a 26 call. The stock's right at 25. I've lost about 35 cents here. We saw that earlier. The value's at about 110. So what are some things I could do? Well, if I'm still bullish on ON, I could potentially roll down the strike. Take the small loss of 30 cents, buy a lower strike call, say at 24 or 23, sort of like averaging down with the stock. Why would I do that? Because I'm going to pay more for these in-the-money calls, because if the stock recovers, I'm going to get to break even faster. I'm putting more money into a position to lower my break even. It's just like averaging down, buying more shares of lower stock. In this case, instead of laddering and buying more calls, I'm going to get what I can from this call back, just have a loss of 35 cents go down. Only do that, though, if you think the stock's going to recover. I could sell premium against it right now, as long as earnings aren't coming up anytime soon. This one doesn't offer weeklies, but with the stock rate at 25, I could still get 26. This would be a horizontal spread. I'm not a fan of these. I prefer diagonals, but I could sell that 26 call right now in this case to create sort of a horizontal or diagonal. And honestly, you don't have to look at it as a diagonal, a horizontal, or a calendar in this position. If you're not familiar with those strategies, say, oh, I don't want to learn those strategies, so I wouldn't do this. Just think of it as selling premium against the stock to hedge it. You're selling premium against your long call to hedge it. You might not agree with the profit and loss chart based on your expectations. This is one of the reasons why I don't like the horizontal calendar spreads and prefer the diagonals, because you have more breadth and you typically don't have this tight of an upper and lower break even. But you knocked your cost basis down by half. You have less risk there, but you do have a capped gain now. Might not be the best thing to do, but that depends on your risk tolerance, Rick, and what you want to see going forward. One other thing is that there is the stock repair tool here on PowerOptions. So, for ON, if I had bought the stock originally at 27 and I had 100 shares, stock repair tool is going to help me build ratio repairs that might help me get back to break even faster. So I put in 27. This is showing me a ratio repair of selling two 25s and buying a 24, where I could lower my break even down to 24.93. And you'd want to go into the repair details to see how that works, or analyze trade here to see the profit and loss chart. So what is it doing? It's a ratio spread added on top of your stock to help you get back to break even faster. Does cap the gain. And although you're selling two calls and buying one, you're not in a naked position, because essentially what this is a covered call, the stock you own with one of the short calls, plus a bull call debit spread. So if the stock stays above 25, you get the dollar back from the debit spread, plus the net credit you received from the ratio spread, and that's what gets you back to break even faster than just holding on to the stock. Why did I bring this up? You don't own the stock. You own a call. I bought a 26 call at $1.45. So maybe I could consider that as a cost basis of strike price plus the premium. So almost like a cost basis of $27.45, 100 shares. Now I can see, do these repairs work to help me get back to break even? But again, I have to remember something. I'm not in the stock position to get back to break even. I am in a long call position at the 26 strike at 145. Does this work? Would this help me get back to break even? This one might be tricky, Rick, because it's a March call that I'm long and I'm doing a ratio for April. So it might not give me the best benefit. I might have to roll out to April so they're all the same, sort of like a butterfly repair almost, turning it into a butterfly. It gives me some kind of risk-reward profile here, similar to what we saw. I know that's confusing. I know I just went through a lot. Here's what I want you to do, Rick, later on. Go to the webinars page. PowerOp.com/webinars.asp. Click on Option Strategies. Scroll, and there you see the top 5, 6 are just subscriber access only, but that's okay. Even without a trial, you can scroll down here and go to Managing Your Long Options Positions from July 21st, 2015. Oh, this is outdated. It's 5 years old. If I was presenting that webinar today, it'd be 90% of the same exact content. The same concepts of what we'd look for to roll a call, how to adjust a call, whether it's up, down, or stagnating in that case. It's the same thing, just different numbers, different market conditions. But it would be the same exact content. So the content is not outdated. The examples are outdated, but it's still the same concepts we would talk about for management techniques for calls and puts. Those ideas don't change. Okay, so Rick, that's what I think you might want to take a look at this weekend. And then when you get questions after going through that webinar, send me an email, give me a call next week. We can talk about some of those ideas as well. All right, so that was just for long calls. He said single calls, mostly as example. And of course, with naked calls, there's ways to adjust those as well. I personally don't trade naked calls. But, you know, just like you'd roll or adjust a covered call that got in trouble, or when a short naked call goes in the money, you'd have to look to roll it. You'd have to look at adjust it, manage that position as well to get off the obligation. And then there's a time when you're at a loss on a covered call position, not a loss, but when a covered call position gets too far away from you. Let's say you wanted to hold the stock and you bought the stock at 50, you sold a 52.5 call, and out of the blue, not even related to earnings, some good news came out and the stock goes up to 60, then continues up to 62, 63, and 64. And then you say, okay, well, it's going to cost me $12 to roll this call. What should I do? And sometimes it might be better just to let that call get assigned. Now, if you're in a naked call, you absolutely have to do something quickly. Don't hold it on too long because you could just compound the losses. Okay, if you just sold a call, not as a part of a spread, not owning the stock, and it's a naked call, sold, adjust that as soon as it goes in the money. Don't let it get too far away from you, because if it keeps going up like we've seen in the last 4 or 5 months, you can end up in a lot of trouble, and we don't want that. Just like you don't want to buy and hold too often if a stock falls and you're hoping it's going to recover, and you're just holding it and holding it and holding it, and it's never recovering, and you're sort of just not using that money, and it's wasting away. You're not losing money. Well, you've lost a lot already, but you're not losing time value or anything. You're not losing interest in that sense, but it's not working for you. All right, it's just down here. Eventually, you just want to close it, take the loss, and move on. And that's what you want to avoid with the naked calls. You don't want to let it get it too far away from you. Okay. That being said, and what I'm going to include on this next discussion for Nick, is that there is a point where if you're in a long call position, you bought a call, stock fell 10, 12, 15% from some unexpected news, and you're at close to a 70 or 80% loss on the long call, because you got to remember leverage works both ways, and you can lose 100% on those options. That is a risk. You can lose 100% of what you invest. If you get to a point where you're more than 60 or 70% loss on the long call, don't try to fix it. I mean, in that case, you might try to manage it by going out 8, 10, 12 months to try to manage the long call position. Might be better just to take the loss and try to make it back with other positions that are better suited for that strategy.